Hey everyone, this is Black117 here, and today we'll be going over our BPL D2 Season 2 finals preview. Um, so right now I'm just gonna be going over the finals or our finals matchup as we're up against Tippett and Kami, or Tippett as he goes by. And yeah, this is pretty much a classic first seed versus second seed, but um, second seed this time, so it'd be so basically the top two teams facing off against each other in the finals. So yeah, and let's just get right into it. So Tipic has a team of Ash Greninja, Lander ST with Z move, Mega Zam, Mimikyu, Gudra, Darmanitan, Registeel, Seismitoad, Whimsicott, Aerodactyl, and Manectric. So my team is listed down is Mega Blaziken, Kira B, Zapdos, Crocodile, Jirachi, Alomola, Carnivore, or Crobat, Vileplume, Tauros, and Bulletin. So right now, right off the bat, to be honest, like this is pretty much going to be a top heavy game once again because as you see, like top six Pokemon I brought, and honestly, there's just no. I honestly looked through like the other five carefully, and honestly, it's just right off the bat, his team just streams offense. Like he's quite a hyper offensive player, and then just plays very aggressively as well. So, um, like especially if Mons like Greninja, Landorus, and also Zam, like obviously like with the yellow indications are offensive Z moves, and green is just regular full so Z moves, with their universal. So but here, I just don't think we'll be bringing like something crazy like that. I think it's just an offensive Z move would be fine. So, um, there is one advantage that we have against him is that he has to activate Ash Greninja via fainting one of our Mons. So I think with our Volk and with how like ridiculously defensive our team has been throughout this past, throughout like these past playoffs and games, I think we could prevent that. So yeah. Um, then you have like there are like some threats that I will note it. Ashgren is, I think as long as I don't let it set up, I think it'll probably be like some kind of offensive set, maybe choice specs or like maybe expert belt, just to not waste the. I don't think he brings life orb at all. So for that matter, or one maybe one with spikes. So then he has Landorus. I think he's probably gonna bring an offensive set. I kind of think that he's going to bring defensive. It's just he'd rather just bring Seismitoad because the checks plays can hard. It's like or hard counters it. So yeah. Um, but yeah, offensive lander is like what I had to say. Like it's pretty good if you ask me. Um, and then you have Mega Zam. Of course, there's like maybe three abilities I want to like take advantage of, but speed boost, regen, and Serene Grace. But um, aside that, it's already fast enough. And then also like regen is kind of like annoying, but we could just pick it off again. So and then like something like Serene Grace. The only thing I could see that could take advantage of that is like maybe like Shadow Ball, but But then again, everything on most of the like Zam's possible moves like Psychic Energy Ball, like Shadow Ball, will probably drop its my target's Spadef. So yeah, gotta take note of that. So then you have Mimikyu, which I think will really come because just offensively speaking, it just does really work. Because my steel is pretty much the I guess you could say very weak to it. So um and not only that, Disguise is just a good ability, fantastic if you ask me. So I think he'll probably be the Z move user, like of the two, either Landorus or Mimikyu, because I don't think like he wants to keep his thing getting chipped down with Life Orb or whatnot. So, and then you have like the other like sort of like the four mons here. I'd see him bringing the two of these Pokemon like Gudra, Dorm, Reggie, or Seismitoad. I just think that Gudra really fits well here. It should just be like a thorn to me. But I think as long as we have like Jirachi, like we could deal with it. Storm, annoying, but you know, we could counter it. We could at least wall or check it. I'm just not, as long as he doesn't bring something really dumb like Adam Band, which is something I've thought of he might bring. Then he has a, I believe, Registeel, which I actually think that thing might be the big threat because looking at his team, he has a lot of rockers, natural rockers between Arrow, Seismitoad, and I believe Landorus, so he might just bring like rocks on out of those three, and this thing could just be like a curse set. And yeah, and same with Goodra. Like, if one of those rings is first, then I'm pretty screwed. So I had to plan for that accordingly, as you'll see. Well, you see one of my answers right there on the screen. So, and then you have Seismitoad, which of course naturally checks Blaziken and some other stuff. You could just Red Toxic, Burns, Knockoff. I think I have some checks to that. So, and the other three, I just don't think he'll bring. Whimsicott Arrow and Minetric. Maybe Arrow he brings of the three because it does have a Z move, and it is able to threaten Kyurem and Zapdos respectively, and even Jirachi if it has Z Earthquake. So, yeah. So overall, like, what would I be my guess for this team? It's probably like very top heavy, like Ashgren, Lando, Zam, Mimikyu, and then maybe like either Seismitoad and Registeel. So, or even Goodra, like 6 or 7 of those spawns. So yeah. So right off the bat, I'll just talk about why I did bring like 5 months. The 5 months I didn't bring. Quilladin, pretty simple. Like Goodra, Registeel just sets up on them, and not only that, Landorus just does the same thing. Same with Mimikyu. So, and it can't stop set up. So Tauros, pretty simple. Zam, Landorus, and Scarf, Gren, Mimikyu can just like pick me off and revenge kill me. I can go for Iron Head flinches on Mimikyu, maybe go for a flinch, but you know, that's not reliable. That's never reliable. So Vileplume, again, so Mimikyu and Landorus could just set up. It could be +1, go for their Z move and just knock me out. Even if I go for Strength Sap, and then Goodra could be Sap Zipper, so, and Registeel doesn't give a damn about that shit, so. And then you have Crobat, which honestly, I honestly don't think Crobat can just check Landorus, Gran, Zam. If I really wanted to, I would have probably brought it like more defensive Crobat this game. Yeah. And lastly, Gardevoir just really like, the only thing I would bring is probably a especially defensive one, but then it makes me too weak to Mimikyu. So yeah. Regarding let's just go into the team I have right now real quick. So here we have Metronome Zapdos, and it is pretty much a very interesting set with 3 attacks, Discharge, Heat Wave, Hidden Power Ice, especially defensive to take on maybe take hits from Gran and Zam. I should be able to live with Stone Edge from Landorus D, but I'm not so sure like if it's an offensive item. So yeah, but if it's an offensive item, then I could like naturally outspeed it with Kyurem. So I do have pressure here because and I really wanted to have static, but Zam could be a problem because if Zam copies static, and if I go into Blaziken or Crocodile and use my contact moves, that could just pretty much decide the game for him right there. So I felt that pressure is better, and not only that, pressure actually helps me. Pressure Zapdos can actually stall out Registeel, the combination of Zapdos plus Aloe. So I could, if that ever comes down to it, like, you know, like Registeel has like something like Iron Head, Toxic, I could just go between, or like Iron Head, Toxic, and Ice Punch, Rock Slide. I could just go between Zapdos, Jirachi, and Aloe, and just switch between them. I can't Roost obviously, but Aloe could heal me up. So, and yeah, I could, and with that, I also have Metronome Heat Wave because I wanted something to break Registeel if it is that set. So, and also because I don't want Registeel just pretty much playing around. I don't want to play around with Registeel. Like, I just wanted to get chip damage as much as possible for Blaziken, or just outright knock it out. So It could be standard, like, you know, maybe Toxic, S-Toss, or Iron Hand, whatever, so. And lastly, hidden power ice, because I want to respect Landorus, and it does deal good damage, so do it, and also Gudra, so. And Roost is pretty simple, so self-explained right there, so. Here, we have Crocodile, which is Scarf, and Intimidate, so rocks, Earthquake, knockoff, foul play. I know it sounds dumb bringing Intimidate plus foul play together, but just when you think about it, like both Landorus and Miku have Sword Stance, and it's pretty obvious that, like, you know, if I get some chip damage to them, I could just maybe knock them out with foul play. Yes, there will probably be a +1, but since I have stab with foul play, then yeah. Not only that, I figured that my stab options with Earthquake and Knockoff are just good enough here. And yeah, like, the reason why I have Scarf Crocodile is pretty much because none of my team members can naturally either deal with Mimikyu or want to be able to revenge kill it. So the reason why I brought Crocodile with Scarf was mostly for 2 reasons. One, probably outspeed Mimikyu and try to OHKO it with foul play if it's ever boosted. Of course, I do want Mimikyu to be chipped down a bit, like maybe like around 80 or 60%. So yeah. And the other reason is because if he has Aerodactyl, I want to lead with it immediately and try to get a Brox ASAP. Because chipping down his team is pretty much very important for this game. He has very few limited, like, removal from Landorus, Whimsicott, and Arrow, so being able to chip down Gran every turn, Zam. Obviously, Zam will probably have a Magic Guard and other like stuff. He has Pokemon has like low HP value, so if I could just make them very like weaken, you know, like slowly but surely, I should be able to like chip them down between Jirachi, Zapdos, and Aloe, and then they'll help me out for Blaziken and Kira B. So yeah. Not really much to say. It's a good revenge killer. Good like stick to those mines. I just gotta keep it healthy at all times, but you know, that's why I wanted to intimidate. So yeah. Then we have our, I guess you could say, Jirachi set, which is Iron Head, U-turn, Body Slam, Wish. Now originally this was Protect with leftovers, but last minute I decided to add Body Slam and Cassid Berry, which Cassid Berry is basically the Ghost Berry, so takes super effective hits from Ghost moves. This is pretty much obviously for Mimikyu or Megazam with Shadow Ball, Shadow Claw, Shadow Sneak respectively, so RZ Shadow Claw. So the way this works is that I want to use this Jirachi as sort of a mon that just pivots around his team. Against Zam, against, let's say, maybe Registeel if it doesn't have a good setup option, or Earthquake, Thunderwave. And yeah, like, even Gran, if it doesn't want to switch into this thing, because if it has U-turn body, if it goes for U-turn and Body Slam, I pretty much get chip damage or paralyze it, like, if I get lucky enough, so yeah. And of course, Iron Head is because, you know, I mean, look at his name. Look at its name, so yeah. It's pretty nice to help against Mimikyu if it's as well, since I could just U-turn to pivot out to Crocodile or Aloe or even Blaziken if it's that weekend. So yeah, Body Slam just has a good 60% chance to paralyze stuff, and his team is really fast and naturally bulky. No, well, not naturally bulky, but like he has no clerics, and so like if Zam, Ren, Landorus, or maybe, well, I don't know about Mimikyu, but like if any of those mons get paralyzed, it just puts me in a very, very good spot. So yeah. The only thing is that I still have to like be very careful about letting certain mons in. So yeah. Then we have Aloe Mola, which is pretty self-explained. Regen, Wish, Protect, Toxic, Waterfall. I really wanted to bring a more like unique Aloe set, like maybe like with knockoff. Well, then again, it's pretty much the same shit. But I figured I needed something to take on Landorus, take on like Darm, pretty much heal up certain mons like Jirachi, Crocodile, Zapdos. This thing's pretty much gonna be like my main go-to check to Gran, Landorus. But I think this will have to be the one I have to preserve the most this game, because and also the one that will be pressured the most, because I have to be very careful about which one of Tepic's team members are gonna be like, you know, attempt to use Gallo as set of fodder in a way. So whether it be Spike's Gran, Calmine, Zam, or SD, Mimikyu, Landorus. So I do have Toxic just for those two, for either of those set threats. At least take damage, like match over time, and also Waterfall. Just to smack certain Pokemon. It's pretty helpful, as I'm able to do more than Scald, so. And also, if I ever get paralyzed any of those mons, I could just go for Waterfall flinches, so yeah. That'll be fun, so. Then we have our, pretty much our two big win cons here. Blaziken and Kirambi, so. Blaziken has Flare Blitz, Vacuum Wave, Defog, and Protect. Now, Defog is pretty much a very dead move, if you ask me. Couldn't think of a good. Even till like the day of the battle, I couldn't think of a good third option. So I decided just to put Defog there. Like, I originally had Superpower, but honestly, I just didn't like it. Probably would have been better to have Superpower, but it's whatever. Because I didn't want to like lose like 50% of my HP with HJK, so yeah. So I stuck with Flare Blitz and Vacuum Wave. So Flare Blitz already kills anything that's not named, that's not defensive, or like a Gudra or Seismitoad. And even then, they take a ton of damage. And the idea is just to pick them off over time. So yeah. Like if you already noticed, my team is pretty much built around Blaziken and Kyurem. So if I can able to chip down those sub members, like any of his team, you know, like Gudra, Seismitoad, or hell, if he doesn't bring them, and I remove certain things like, you know, Disguise, Wear Down Grin, and Landorus, then that would be putting me in a very fantastic spot. So I do have to be very careful about Disguise Mimikyu or like Speed Boost on Zam, which is actually why I actually put Blaziken. I think it's already natural, but I put Blaziken. The reason why I'm running that is because I don't want Zam to trace me because, you know, based off speed orders, if Mega Zam and Blaziken are in the same turn order, you know, on the field at the same time. Let's say Zam goes for Psychic, as he goes for Mega, like Zam will try to copy my ability first, so as I Mega up. So he's gonna copy Blaze before he gets speed boost. So that's pretty much the idea. Of course, he might go for sub, but you know, that's another 50-50 we have to think about. So, but at least I have that. So Protect is obviously to get the speed, and I am fast enough to outspace Mimikyu and everything else at +1. So yeah. The only thing I will say is that yeah, it's Flare Blitz, but yeah, it's Flare Blitz with 160 special. I mean, 160 attack. So yeah, like nothing wants to take that. So I do have Vacuum Wave just to chip down or pick off a 50% or less Gran. I don't know, that sounds like a sound slogan or whatever. So yeah, pretty much. So if Gran is like weakened, I could probably pick it off. So yeah. So that's pretty much it. If I get rid of Gran very early on, yeah, like this is gonna be like my #1 win con. So yeah. Then lastly, we have ICMZ Kyurem, some Spadef and HP investment. The HP investment just to ensure that I get subs up against Registeel, and if he has S-Toss, so. And I do have Ice Beam or Power because, of course, naturally, like none of his mons like wanted to take either or. I actually had a Metronome before, but I wanted something that was a breaker as well. So I actually changed this to Z Ice, like I think the last day before I battle. So, and honestly, I think it's better because, you know, having a way to break Zam, even Oko Mimikyu through Disguise with Terrible is pretty nice as well. Especially going for Z Ice Beam, so. But he's probably going to be forced to run Jolly, so. I do have Earth Power just to smack Registeel. and I have sub just to take advantage of that. So yeah. I do actually naturally outspeed Landorus, so he's pretty forced to run like maybe a Scarf, or maybe like some kind of weird set with it. So I don't know. How you'll want to deal with that. So but yeah, I do have sub just to take on, let's say, Registeel and Sidespatoad. But I just gotta be careful about Encore Mons, you know, Zam and whatnot. So of course those Pokemon could just have Focus Blast. Landers could have Superpower, just a Z move, or Mimikyu could always go for C, play rough, or Mimikyu MZ. I don't know what I don't want to say that name because that sounds so like weird. So yeah. So anyways, I think that's the team. Um, of course, I wanted to explain that I can't go for this immediately because he will all prioritize me, Water Shuriken, but with +1 speed, I should be able to do it. So, but yeah, Kyurem, Blaziken should be my primary win cons. Also Crocodile if everything's weak chipped down. So, or my bulk overall if he doesn't have enough stuff from it. So, yeah, that's the team. So, already I'm just gonna go head into the battle. So, be right back.